Hello, guys. Welcome to Love Life on botchpod.com. My name is Leslie, and sitting with me is Marvin.
Hi, guys.
Today, we'll be exploring a very interesting subject. We'll be looking at loving people you don't agree with. And I'm sure you agree with me that there are times where you come in contact with people that you never agree with. Marvin, you don't meet those people before?
Of course. Several times. And, most times life throws different things at you.
Yeah.
But the truth is, love is a commandment. And then you have different kinds of people that comes in different colors, different shades.
Yeah.
And you really don't necessarily agree. I mean, generally speaking, you don't even agree with everybody.
Yeah.
And then you definitely have people that are close to you that probably don't do things the way you would agree or the way you would probably take them as good, but you still have to love them. So of course we have a whole lot of them, but regardless, it's a commandment. So we have to.
I think we get to encounter more people that we don't agree with, I think, than people we agree with, right? Is that
because most times we want things done a certain way sometimes, and then when you encounter people, so this whole thing called love, most times, it's people look at it like give and take. Mm-hmm. So you expect that somebody should do something the way you want it to be done. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, not everybody would give you what exactly you want. But loving someone you really don't agree with, imagine it was someone who was close to you, and then the person was going, you definitely know the person is veering off every normal or every right way. But then how do you still show love? Without almost saying, no, you have to do it like this.
Yeah.
You have to do it the certain way as a person. So it gets tricky.
Yeah,
but then...
So the first question I really, really like us to weigh in on is, can you love someone that you disagree with?
You can, actually.
Okay.
But then, I think first things first, we have to define love, because love is a relative term.
Yeah.
And in different contexts.
Yeah.
So if we define love as maybe caring for someone, looking out for the person, and being there for the person, in this context now, and then you don't disagree with the person, you can, but it's difficult. That's the truth. And I think that's one step to loving the person, admitting that it's difficult to love such persons. Because, if you imagine when you even have a child, for instance, and then you ask, oh, do this, and he doesn't or she doesn't, you're angered, but you love the person in the midst of it.
Yeah.
So just because he or she doesn't do exactly what you want to do, doesn't take away the love factor. Now, that's a child. That's probably a very minute thing.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about maybe someone who has done some grievous thing, for instance, you have a relative who is an armed robber, and every day you get updates. Oh, he's in some police station today, he's here tomorrow. You almost don't want to associate yourself with anything. If they say, come, who is your next of kin, and he has to call you, you know how you would feel. And most times you might be in a social light where you really don't want anything staining your name. And in the world we live in right now, everything is everywhere because of the internet, And then they're calling you. Before you know, oh, Leslie, this your brother is in the police station. He's this, he's that. At some point, you don't want to identify with the person. But does that take away the love? No, it doesn't. So I think you can actually love someone in difficult times, when you don't agree with the person.
Yeah.
But I feel it's relative. But regardless, the love should be unconditional.
Yeah, as you were even speaking, I was just thinking that I think love is meant for moments like that, right? I think there's no point. I think if you have to agree with everybody, there will not be so much need for love.
Okay, true.
Yeah. So I think love is born for such a moment like that, I think, where, you are sharing a different opinion with somebody, Because eventually, anybody you are close to, you have moments where you disagree.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So we're able to establish that truly you can love and disagree.
Of course.
Right, okay, that's fine. But so then, how do you practically love someone you don't agree with? Let's, for example, you share a different opinion with the person. Mm-hmm. You know, we human beings, we have a tendency to withhold from those that are not on our side. Mm-hmm. We withhold our care, withhold our affection. If they just take a different perspective or a different tone, mm-hmm. there's a natural tendency to withhold your affection.
Yeah.
And that even in relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Once your wife or once your girlfriend is sharing a different perspective, mm-hmm. it's difficult to be all smiling and nice, right? So, but how do you practically in such situation still love someone that is not agreeing with you?
Wow, okay. So the thing is, we need to understand, first of all, that even we as people don't agree with ourselves most times.
Okay.
But yet we love ourselves.
Okay.
There are times when you actually do something and you're not proud of that moment about yourself, you know. Oh, you got caught up in a particular compromising position, or you did something, you reacted to someone somehow you are not supposed to. But regardless of all that, you still love yourself. You're not going to, kill yourself because you messed up at a time. Yeah. Now, if that's what you can do to yourself, how much more to the next person beside you? Mm. Your brother, your sister, your wife, your sibling, whoever the person is, how much more would you react to that person? So it is relative, what I said by saying it's relative in the sense that we acknowledge that it's difficult. Now, how do we get it done? For instance, you see sometimes when a man says, okay, let me give an example. I heard over the radio last week, a man, I think he's a VIO officer, and either VIO or road safety, one of them, and then somebody sped past the traffic light, okay, and beat the traffic light. And they pursued the person and stopped the person. And guess what? It was his wife. You know? And he gave his wife.
Guys,
yes. Right? And he gave her a ticket and made her pay. Yeah. And she did. But when she got back home, she said, because of what you did, I'm not going to give you food. And I'm going to deny you in the other room. Now, does he love her? Yes. But he had to do his job. Yeah. How did she perceive it? She felt that, of course, if you want to argue it out, there are a lot of reasons why what he did was right or what she did was right. But the truth about it is, he did what he had to do because that was right in his own side, yes? But then, it doesn't stop him from showing her love. But she felt, she was hurt. And one of the, I would say maybe attributes of, you have to give your husband food. Yeah. And then she's like, no, and then she doesn't want to. So has that thing broken? Is that a condition? Is she is her love conditional? Or because you didn't do this, so you're not going to get this? Okay. Now, let me bring it back home. If we find out that we make mistakes ourselves and can forgive ourselves and still do what we are, so how much more, even if you know that this person is gone, the person's life is messed up, why would you find it easy to forgive yourself and love yourself and make it difficult for the other person? That's why sometimes you're like, okay, you did this because of that. Nah, I'm not going to show you love. I'm not going to, just like in local palace, bro, show me love now. Oh, no be you did yesterday, see what you do you understand? Now, I feel and I believe that if you can forgive yourself, the truth is, what we go through as humans, the level and the height at which I'm going through what I'm going through, might not be as much as yours, but yours is what's on the screen, and everybody sees it. Yeah. But if I can forgive myself, but because people don't know what I'm going through, if I can forgive myself, why shouldn't I be able to forgive you and be able to love you against all odds? Yeah. Now, can you love somebody who stole, who is a thief, who probably has even killed, but is your brother? Yes, you can. Because if you're in your shoes, if you're in his shoes, you would pray that someone loved you back. If you can forgive yourself, you can forgive him. So I feel it starts first of all with identifying that, listen, anybody can be in the other person's shoes. It's love. I was sharing something with you initially. It's scripted. It's not scripted, rather, it's a commandment.
Yeah.
It wasn't a suggestion, love your neighbor. You didn't say, oh, it's a commandment because it's clear that it was going to be a struggle at some point to love.
Yeah.
Troubles are always going to come. Issues are always going to come. Even husband and wife who you see on social media and feel like they have it all. The times when they have their issues, there's always going to come. But what you do in that moment defines how much you truly love the person.
Yeah.
So I think it starts with identifying that me, myself, I could be in this person's shoes.
Yeah.
If I can, that's love. Sometimes it's painful, but that's true love. Okay, so if you look inwards and then you find yourself that you can actually make such kind of mistakes, I mean, that's one reason for you to look and say, you know what, it's difficult, but I still love this person regardless. You can forgive, and the person is still committing the same crimes, still doing the same things, but you say to yourself, listen, I feel like it has to be very intentional. It shouldn't even be just because it's commanded. It has to be very, very intentional. Because if it's intentional, you're sure that sometimes we even know when somebody's going to misbehave.
Yeah.
You know that this person, oh, okay, just watch now, he's going to, you know already. So it's more like, because it's a commandment, it's almost like, get yourself ready. This person is going to mess up again. But the fact that you chastise the person doesn't mean you don't love the person. The fact that you don't agree with what the person is doing, the fact that you even don't agree with, that's the thing. Do you know the fact that you don't agree with what the person is doing shows that you love the person? Most times, you see someone who, I mean, you already see that he's going down the drain. Yeah. I don't care. I really don't even know him. I don't care. And then whatever happens to him happens. You will not even, you won't caution him. You won't give him heads up. Yeah? But the moment, see where this guy they go. I don't want it. The fact that you identify and you speak with him is an act of love.
Yeah.
Because you care. Not as much as probably you would want to, but you still don't want to see that person lost. So the fact that you can even see that shows that love has started there already, and you can build on it. You know? Yeah.
So apart from the angle of where we feel like the disagreement, it's not every time somebody's disagreeing with you that you are right and the person is wrong. The person might be right, but it's just that that's not your perspective of issues, right?
Yeah.
That's not
what you believe.
That's not what you believe.
Yes. But you see, so I would say I'll respond to that, and then I'll bring in another angle to it. You see, the truth is, the question most times should even be, what I believe, is it right? Is it right by a general notion? Oh, okay, this is how it should be done. Because this other person might be doing something that you don't agree with. Doesn't necessarily mean that, like you said, oh, he's wrong. That's not just your style.
Your style.
Yes, exactly. Because somebody uses granite oil to fry, to make jollof rice, doesn't mean that if somebody else uses palm oil, he will not still end up in the same jollof rice. Do you understand? But you might not agree because it's not your style. So because it's not your style, would you now say no? So a lot of work, before you open your mouth and say you want to love someone, a lot of work has to do with, you have to do a lot of work on your own self. Yeah. More in the sense that, it's like a man saying, I love this woman, I want to marry her. You have to work on yourself first before you pick her and say, because there are a lot of things that will test that thing you say you love. That word you open your mouth, a lot of things are going to test it. So before you love someone, normally, I mean, not even someone who is a pain in the neck. Yeah. No, just a random person. There's some convictions, you have to deliberately do it. So let alone someone who is always a bother, So you have to do a lot of things intentionally just to choose that you love, to decide to love the person.
Yeah. Okay. So we may want to get that. You have to forgive, and you need to be able to put yourself in their condition to practically love people that you disagree with. I also want to add, you need to see the good too
Yes,
in people.
in people.
Because, and that's one difficult thing to do, especially if the person is on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to identify good in people.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people that before you go find the good, you go deep.
It's actually always there.
Well, but it's there. But before you can tap into the goodness, you need to be like you said, to be very intentional.
Yeah.
To be able to get to.
It's always
what's
there,
good
but
about them.
sometimes some people's bad overshadows the good.
Yeah.
And just like I was speaking earlier, I was saying that, and I think I should bring in this here. Sometimes the things that we say, oh, these people, maybe they're actually doing things that are bad or not right and all that. But most times, they are struggles. They're internal struggles these people have.
Yeah.
And depending on how you deal with the struggle, even when you claim you love the person, determines how much they pull away from those struggles or addictions, whatever it is. And the truth is, we all have struggles. Someone who drinks a lot is his struggle. It's an addiction, Probably it's going to affect his health and all that. But just because is very obvious to see, doesn't mean that my own struggle is spending a lot and nobody sees that, doesn't mean that we're not on the same. But when people see him and today he's coming back home drunk, and then it's like, this person is wasted. We all have struggles. So you have to love them beyond their struggle. That is why I said it is intentional. You have to first tell yourself that, see, this person needs love as much as I love myself, because I have my own struggles that people don't see, and because they don't see it, sometimes you look at people and I feel like they are very perfect. But if they open up just a window and tell you how many things they're struggling with, you'll be surprised. So in those struggles, in those addictions, you still have to love them regardless. That's why, and then just like I said, why is it that when someone dies, we now start looking for closure? Oh God, I wish, and the people start talking about the good parts of the person. But when the person was alive, it was like, he's this, he's that, oh, he's here again, he's there again, and all that. And then when the person is no more, you're like, oh, I wish this person was around. And he used to be this. He used to, how do we see it only when the person is not there? Someone said something once. He said, not all heroes wear capes. So we shouldn't just, Superman is here, he has his cape and everything. Most times he don't even wear anything. And we shouldn't wait until someone is dead before we celebrate the person. So I feel like you have to be intentional about loving before your love can even be complete.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that. So, think about the statement, don't let an unattractive future in someone blind your eyes from seeing the good in them.
Of course.
Because I think many times, right, that's where we have struggles.
Yeah.
If people are not attractive in their conduct or in their ways to you, it becomes a very serious problem that you need to be able to see beyond
their wrong ways
faults
as it is. Yes.
and their issues. But let's streamline this to relationship, right? You're married, so it's not every time that you agree with your wife.
True.
So I know that, there's a strong saying that says that can two work together except they agree. So yes, you've agreed on basic core values, and that's why you're able to work together with your partner. But then in the course of the journey, there are things that you're not going to agree with them.
Of course.
Right? And there are times where you have leveraged you have used your love as some sort of payment.
Collateral.
For the agreement. But funny enough, that's what we do.
Of course.
Many times when we say, I love you.
When you
really,
don't have
we're only
anything to
saying, I love you until you just disagree with me.
Of course.
Right? So how have you been able to manage the whole journey of agree, not agree? Have you been able to maintain have you developed a system on how you go around it? Or do you starve your partner of love at those moments where you feel we're not on the same page? And if you don't, how, practically speaking, how did you navigate those moments?
Okay. So, I mean, it's easy to say, I love you.
Yeah.
It's easy to love someone, yes. But how easy is it to act the love? Yeah, I think that's where the problem comes in. Because most times, what we experience, especially in relationships, is there are things that we've not seen before. We have no idea. And then your partner just springs up. Even me, sometimes I spring up some kind of attitude and I'm like, maybe later after. But it's not always been easy. That's the truth. Because most times it's clear. If I grew up in a certain kind of background and she grew up in a certain kind of, we would be arguing because my understanding is when I was growing up, this is how we were taught.
Yeah.
And her understanding is while we were growing up, that was how she was taught.
Yeah.
And then by the time we come together, there's no common ground. And then it makes it very difficult. Now, and I've been in those kind of situations countless times. But the truth about it is, love, I see love, and I've heard several times, love has no records of wrongs. It colors your efforts and covers your errors. So when I see that we're not going to get to an impasse, we're just going to keep either being at loggerheads, because there is no common ground. The truth is, I take a step back and probably don't say anything and probably don't do anything about the situation at the time, because you always have two options. Do something or not do anything. If you do something, don't do something stupid. If you do something stupid, you try to raise your hand on, and it's a different ballgame entirely. But you can actually keep quiet and pray in your heart. But regardless, I still love her. My love for her hasn't stopped. Her love for me hasn't stopped. But the truth is, yes, we don't agree.
Yeah.
We need to, and it is it's something constant that we need to keep reminding ourselves. I will not always agree with you, but we would always remain together. Yeah. That's love.
I think that's
I would not always agree with you, but would always remain together. Yeah. So that's like that's once you have that, once you know that, you just run with that. Yeah. And regardless of whatever happens, you know that, okay, you know what, we didn't agree, but we are together. And we love each other.
Yeah. That's a statement we should use for everybody, actually. Yeah. I don't have to agree with you, but I have to love you. Someone said, I'm determined that I'm going to love everybody. Even if it kills me, I've set my heart on it, and I'm going to do it.
It's possible.
Right? That's it. It's very important, because we come in contact with lots of people that we definitely not agree with. Let's round off with this, thought of Jesus. He said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
Who offend you.
And most likely, those are people that you don't agree with. If somebody is persecuting you, definitely you are not in the same, pattern with that person.
Yeah.
So pray for them.
We have no option. That's where love comes in.
Yeah.
Pray for them. Friends, enemies.
Yeah.
Pray for them.
Yeah.
And then, who knows, we'll make the world a better place.
Yeah. So we need to really, really embrace some of these things, and just a quick wrap up. So we need to forgive. We need to be able to see from those people's lens.
And be intentional.
We need to see the good in people, and areas where you can see the good, because some people struggle to even see the good. You can look out for their characters that are good. You can look out for their gifts. Sometimes that's where you won't find the good. And when you don't agree with people and you're able to identify that, I like the way you are skilled in this thing. You open the person up. All of a sudden, the person wants to be interested in whatever, And then sometimes you need to just look out for something to actually praise them for. Many times of recent, I've been struggling with my girl, and there's something that I feel like God has been shutting my mouth to don't talk about, right? And I'm always tempted to want to talk about it with her.
Yeah.
But because I've repeated it over and over again, and she gets offended. So now I'm just, okay, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Just talk about something else that is good. Identify something else. So that whole journey has been a fight, but it's a good one, right? So thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming to weigh in on this thought
anytime.
and how to love people we don't agree with. So we need to know that we would definitely have moments where we don't agree with people. So it's not just you don't agree with one person, but even the person you started with agreeing with, there'll come times where you don't agree with them. But are you supposed to stop loving them because of that? No. So that's what, we've been trying to unfold to make us understand how, we can look past the unattractiveness of whatever is causing that disagreement and love them for who they are.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us today. We look forward to having you on our other episode. But this was a great time with Marvin. Any more last words?
Let's love ourselves and love our enemies.
Thank you guys for joining us today. We hope that we're able to put some of these things in practice and run with it. And truly, like Marvin said, make the world a much better place. See you in the next episode.